Because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do on July 4th.
What if the world's toughest action hero was hiding a secret that could break him? Arnold Schwarzenegger, a legend of muscle in movies, kept a son hidden for 14 years, a truth that shattered his family. But is that the end of his story? This is the untold tale of a man who rose, fell, and fought to rise again. In 1997, 2 children were born in California just 5 days apart, both fathered by the same man, a global icon whose name was synonymous with strength. Only one was meant to be known. For 14 years, Arnold Schwarzenegger kept a secret that could unravel everything he'd built. His housekeeper's son, raised in his own home, grew up bearing an uncanny resemblance to him. No one spoke of it until a therapy session, when a single word, yes, shattered the silence, forever altering his family's story. How did a man so larger than life carry such a hidden truth? To understand, we must go back to where it all began. Picture a small village in Austria, still scarred from the Second World War. It's 1947, and Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger is born on July 30th in Thal, near Graz, into a world of hardship. His father, Gustav, was the local police chief, a man hardened by his wartime experiences. Having joined the Nazi Party in 1938 and served in the SA, Gustav brought home a strictness that shaped his sons' lives. Arnold and his older brother, Meinhard, grew up in a Catholic household where discipline was non-negotiable. Every morning, young Arnold faced a grueling routine, 200 sit-ups and push-ups just to earn his breakfast. Rain or shine, there were no excuses. His father's red pen marked every mistake in his schoolwork, demanding perfection. In this environment, competition was constant. Arnold and Meinhard were pitted against each other, vying for their father's approval in everything from sports to simple chores. This relentless pressure forged Arnold's resilience, but it took a heavy toll on Meinhard. Sensitive and creative, Meinhard struggled to meet their father's expectations. While Arnold channeled the challenge into ambition, Meinhard turned inward, seeking solace in alcohol. In 1971, at just 24, Meinhard's life ended tragically in a drunk driving accident. Arnold, already in America chasing his dreams, chose not to attend the funeral, a decision that spoke to the deep divide their upbringing had created. He later reflected, "The same thing that made me who I am destroyed him." A year later, Gustav passed away, and again, Arnold stayed away, focused on his path forward. But what drove Arnold to rise above such a challenging start? At 14, everything changed. During a football practice, his coach took the team to a gym near Thal Lake. Stepping inside, Arnold was mesmerized by the sight of men lifting weights, their bodies sculpted into living statues. Football was forgotten. Bodybuilding became his obsession. Inspired by icons like Reg Park and Steve Reeves, he devoured magazines and watched every film featuring bodybuilders. He wasn't just training his body, he was crafting a vision of who he could become. By 15, Arnold was training 6 days a week, far surpassing his peers. At 17, while serving in the Austrian army, he went AWOL to compete in the Junior Mr. Europe contest in 1965, winning the title and accepting a week in military prison as the cost of his ambition. His hunger was insatiable. As he later said, "For me, life is continuously being hungry. The meaning of life is not simply to exist, to survive, but to move ahead, to achieve, to conquer." By 1967, at just 20, he stood on a stage in London claiming the Mr. Universe title, the youngest ever to do so. The bodybuilding world was stunned, but for Arnold, it was just the beginning. What kind of determination does it take to leave everything behind? In 1966, at 19, Arnold moved to Munich, carrying only a suitcase and a dream. After completing his mandatory army service, he stepped into a city that felt overwhelming. Loud, fast, and unfamiliar. He lived in a cramped flat with fellow bodybuilders like Franco Columbu, sometimes sleeping in a gym storage room when money was tight. Working as a trainer at a small gym, He earned just enough to survive, but for Arnold, it was enough. The gym was his sanctuary where he trained for 5 to 6 hours daily, targeting every muscle group with up to 60 sets per session. His discipline was unmatched. No drinking, no smoking, just iron and ambition. In Munich, Arnold's physique began to take shape. Standing 6 feet 2 inches, his contest weight reached 235 pounds with a 57-inch chest, 22-inch arms, and 29.5-inch thighs. But it wasn't just size. His symmetry and aesthetics set him apart. He believed in shocking the muscles, training twice a day, 6 days a week, with a high-protein diet of 5 meals daily. Meat, eggs, dairy, and supplements fueling his growth. His off-season weight climbed to 260 pounds, a testament to his relentless pursuit of mass. But was it all natural? Like many bodybuilders of the 1960s, Arnold admitted to using steroids, primarily Dianabol and testosterone, under medical supervision. He described his use as minimal: 100 milligrams of testosterone weekly and 3 Dianabol daily, but some peers suggested he used more. At the time, these substances were legal, part of the sports culture, yet they remain a point of contention. Arnold's transparency about his choices reflected his willingness to own his journey, flaws and all. In September 1967, Arnold's breakthrough came. He won Mr. Universe in London, defeating American favorite Dennis Tenorino. Returning to Munich, he posed shirtless in the snow for a photo shoot, unfazed by the cold, driven by the need to be seen. He went on to win Mr. Universe 4 more times, and in 1970, claimed his first Mr. Olympia title at 23, the youngest ever. From 1970 to 1975, he dominated, winning 6 consecutive titles, defeating legends like Sergio Oliva. His secret weapon? Psychological warfare. Before competitions, he'd plant doubts in rivals' minds, like telling Lou Ferrigno he looked almost ready, causing hesitation that Arnold exploited on stage. In 1968, Arnold took his biggest leap yet, arriving in America with just $20 in a duffel bag. His thick accent and limited English made everyday tasks, like reading menus, daunting. Yet, the bodybuilding community embraced him. Joe Weider, a titan in the sport, provided a place to stay and a small stipend, allowing Arnold to train full-time. He enrolled in English classes and later pursued a degree from the University of Wisconsin-Superior, showing his commitment to growth beyond the gym. By 1970, he was unstoppable, his 22-inch biceps and dynamic posing routines captivating audiences. Arnold's impact on bodybuilding was profound. He brought showmanship to the stage, choreographing poses to music, turning competitions into performances. His charisma drew crowds, elevating the sport's profile. In 1977, Pumping Iron hit theaters, capturing the drama of the 1975 Mr. Olympia. The documentary showcased Arnold's 7th title win, his rivalry with Lou Ferrigno, and his magnetic personality. It wasn't just a film about bodybuilding, it was a window into Arnold's mind, a man who treated every challenge like a conquest. The spotlight from Pumping Iron had barely faded when Arnold Schwarzenegger set his sights on a new frontier: Hollywood. The 1977 documentary, though laced with scripted drama, like a fabricated story about missing his father's funeral, had turned bodybuilding into a cultural phenomenon, and Arnold into a star. But could a man with a thick Austrian accent and a physique built for the gym conquer the silver screen? Hollywood wasn't convinced. Executives scoffed at his name, one even mocking him as Schnitzel, and urged him to stick to villain roles. In the 1970s, leading men were lean and cerebral, not towering bodybuilders. Yet Arnold's resolve was unshakable. His first film, Hercules in New York in 1970, was a misstep. His voice dubbed, his name changed to Arnold Strong, and the movie flopped. For years, major roles eluded him, but he bided his time, training his craft as relentlessly as he had his muscles. Then, in 1976, a spark ignited. Arnold landed a role in Stay Hungry alongside Jeff Bridges, and this time, his accent wasn't a barrier, it was a draw. His raw charisma shone, earning him a Golden Globe for Best Acting Debut. What did it take to turn skeptics into believers? That win opened doors, leading to Conan the Barbarian in 1982. With a $20 million budget, the film grossed $79 million worldwide, proving Arnold could carry a blockbuster. His size, once a liability, became his signature, but it was 1984's The Terminator that etched his name in history. Made for just $6.4 million, it earned $78 million, driven by 3 words: "I'll be back." Arnold initially questioned the line, but director James Cameron's insistence made it iconic. Overnight, he wasn't just a star, he was a legend. The hits kept coming, each one bolder than the last. From 1985 to 1991, Arnold redefined action cinema with Commando, $57 million, Predator, $98 million, The Running Man, and Red Heat. He didn't just star in these films. He shaped the genre, blending brute force with sharp wit. But could he stretch beyond explosions and gunfire? In 1988, he answered with Twins, a comedy pairing him with Danny DeVito as unlikely brothers. The concept seemed absurd, yet it grossed $216 million on a $15 million budget. Arnold, DeVito, and director Ivan Reitman took profit shares instead of salaries, each pocketing over $35 million. This gamble proved Arnold could make audiences laugh as easily as he thrilled them. Then came Total Recall in 1990, a $65 million sci-fi spectacle that earned $261 million with groundbreaking effects. The pinnacle arrived in 1991 with Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Its $102 million budget, massive for the time, yielded over $517 million globally, revolutionizing special effects and making Arnold the world's highest-paid actor at $15 million. By 1993, he was crowned the International Star of the Decade, a title no one dared challenge. Yet, beneath this glittering success, a shadow loomed. In 1996, Arnold stood at the peak of fame, married to Maria Shriver of the Kennedy dynasty, with a political future on the horizon. But behind closed doors, he was entangled in a secret that would shake his world. While Maria was pregnant with their 4th child, Arnold began an affair with their housekeeper, Mildred Bona. The timing was staggering. On September 27, 1997, Maria gave birth to their son, Christopher. Just 5 days later, Mildred welcomed Joseph, Arnold's son. Both women, pregnant simultaneously, lived under the same roof, yet the truth remained hidden. Mildred listed her husband, Rogelio Baena, as Joseph's father on the birth certificate. As Joseph grew, his striking resemblance to Arnold raised whispers, but the secret held for a time. When it finally broke, it fractured Arnold's marriage, estranged Joseph from his half-siblings, and forced Mildred to leave Bakersfield to escape the fallout. As Arnold pivoted to politics, another storm hit. In 2003, during his campaign for California governor, the Los Angeles Times published allegations from 15 women accusing him of inappropriate behavior spanning 3 decades. The claims were specific. One woman described being pulled onto his lap with crude remarks. Another alleged he removed her swimsuit in an elevator, and others reported groping on film sets. Dubbed Gropagate, the scandal threatened to derail his campaign. Yet Arnold pressed forward, dismissing the accusations as exaggerated. Astonishingly, he won the October 7, 2003, recall election with nearly 49% of the vote, including 43% of women and 18% of Democrats, becoming California's second foreign-born governor. Years later, in a Netflix documentary, he admitted, "No excuses, it was wrong." How did he navigate such turbulence? His campaign, with buses named after his films, turned politics into a spectacle, ousting Gray Davis. In office, Arnold's brash persona didn't fade. In 2004, he called opposing Democrats girly men, echoing a Saturday Night Live skit, sparking cheers from supporters and outrage from critics who labeled it sexist and homophobic. State Senator Sheila Quayle called it blatant homophobia, but Arnold's team offered no apologies. Surprisingly, he championed progressive causes. In 2007, he proposed a $12 billion healthcare plan to cover 6.5 million uninsured Californians, including undocumented immigrants, shocking conservatives and liberals alike. In 2006, he backed the Global Warming Solutions Act, positioning California as a leader in emissions reduction, earning environmental praise but Republican scorn. Yet, his tenure wasn't without flaws. California's debt grew from $34 billion to $91 billion under his watch, fueled by a slashed vehicle license fee, $15 billion in deficit bonds, and $37 billion for infrastructure. The 2008 financial crisis worsened the situation with collapsing revenues and job losses. By 2011, each Californian owed $2,362 in state debt, and interest consumed over 7% of the budget. As Arnold Schwarzenegger walked away from the California governor's mansion in January 2011, he left behind a state grappling with a $91 billion debt and an approval rating that had plummeted to a mere 23%, lower than the governor he'd replaced. His promise to fix California's finances had unraveled, leaving conservatives feeling betrayed by his progressive policies and liberals dismissing him as all charisma, no substance. The legislature fared no better, with a 17% approval rating, but for Arnold, the real storm was just beginning. What could shake a man who had conquered bodybuilding, Hollywood, and politics? The answer lay in a single moment that would redefine his legacy. On January 4th, 2011, just one day after leaving office, Arnold sat in a counseling session with Maria Shriver, his wife of 25 years. The air was thick with tension as the therapist turned to him and asked, "Did you father a child with the housekeeper, Mildred Baina?" Time seemed to freeze. After years of denial, Arnold uttered a single word: "Yes." That confession unleashed a torrent of consequences. Joseph Baina, born in October 1997, just 5 days after Maria's son Christopher was his son. The affair had taken place in 1996, while Maria and their children were away, and Arnold was filming Batman and Robin. For 14 years, he had convinced himself, or tried to, that Mildred's husband was Joseph's father. But as Joseph grew, his striking resemblance to Arnold became undeniable, and Maria's suspicions had simmered for years. The revelation was a seismic blow. Maria, already reeling from the loss of her parents, Eunice and Sergeant Shriver, between 2009 and 2011, described the moment as shattering her identity. "I sat on the hotel room floor in the dark, terrified and alone with tears streaming down my face," she later wrote in her 2025 book, I Am Maria. She filed for divorce in July 2011, citing irreconcilable differences, though the legal process lingered until 2021. Maria sought solace in therapy, meditation, and even spiritual guides, piecing herself back together. The public, once enamored with their Kennedy-Schwarzenegger union, watched as their fairy tale marriage crumbled under the weight of betrayal. For Joseph, then just 13, the truth was a public ordeal. News vans swarmed his Bakersfield home, and Mildred, desperate to shield him, pulled him from school and fled to Texas. "My life flipped overnight," Joseph later recalled. The media frenzy turned a teenager's world upside down, forcing him to grapple with an identity he hadn't fully understood. Yet, from this chaos, a bond emerged. Arnold embraced Joseph, mentoring him in fitness and bodybuilding, sharing his encyclopedia of modern bodybuilding. By 2025, Joseph had carved his own path, appearing on Dancing with the Stars, gracing the cover of Men's Health, and working as a real estate agent, determined to be more than Arnold's son. Arnold's other children, Catherine, Christina, Patrick, and Christopher, forged their own successes. Patrick, in particular, gained acclaim for his role in The White Lotus in 2025. Yet, the rift between Joseph and his half-siblings persists. Despite sharing the same father and being born days apart, Joseph remains on the periphery, uninvited to family milestones like Catherine's wedding. His likes on their social media posts go unreciprocated, a quiet reminder of the affair's enduring scars. But Arnold never stopped reinventing himself. In 2025, at 77, he remains a force, starring in FUBAR Season 2 on Netflix and playing the president in Kung Fury 2, a martial arts comedy set for release. A cameo in Edgar Wright's The Running Man remake thrilled fans, showing he still commands attention. Beyond acting, he's a beacon of fitness, releasing a 2025 supplement guide and workout guide, sharing 60 years of expertise. His Arnold Sports Festival, set for February 2025, continues to inspire with events like the world's strongest firefighter competition. His climate activism is equally robust. The Schwarzenegger Climate Initiative hosts the Austrian World Summit, with its 9th edition on June 3, 2025 in Vienna, rallying global leaders to terminate pollution. In a BBC interview, he urged action over complaints, even endorsing Kamala Harris in 2024, showing his willingness to cross party lines. Yet, not all moments were triumphant. In 2022, a 4-car crash in Los Angeles involving Arnold's GMC Yukon left a woman permanently disabled, sparking a lawsuit alleging reckless driving. Though no drugs or alcohol were involved, the incident underscored the real-world consequences of a single moment. Financially, Arnold's empire is staggering, with a net worth of $750 million to $1 billion. His real estate portfolio, valued at $100 to $200 million, includes luxury estates and commercial properties built from investments that made him a millionaire by 21. His 5% stake in Dimensional Fund Advisors, acquired in 1996 when it managed $12 billion, now oversees $777 billion, a cornerstone of his wealth. He's owned luxury cars like Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari, and Aston Martin models, and likely sports high-end watches from brands like Rolex or Patek Philippe, though specifics are private. Private jets are plausible given his travel, but unconfirmed. His businesses, Oak Productions, Fitness Publications Inc., and Pumping Iron America, bolster his fortune, as do past endorsements. Comprehensive insurance likely protects his assets, though details are unavailable. His financial lessons? Start investing early, diversify, and leverage your brand. Reflecting on his life, Arnold owns his failures. In his 2023 Netflix docuseries, he admitted, "It was wrong what I did, but I don't want Joseph to feel unwelcome. He's extraordinary, and I love him." He's rebuilt ties with Maria, who in 2025 said they laugh about their kids and grandkids, a testament to their co-parenting. His bond with all 5 children remains strong, celebrating their milestones publicly. Arnold's journey from bodybuilding to Hollywood to politics shows that even legends stumble, yet resilience can rebuild what's broken. If his story moved you, comment, and subscribe to explore more tales of triumph. His life proves one thing: "I'll be back" isn't just a line, it's a legacy.